If you have ADHD, you probably experience impulsivity at some point. Maybe not everyone, but most people do. And so I thought about that. If you have impulsivity, are you also experiencing the fear of missing out? Are you experiencing FOMO? And I wanted to come up with ways to reduce FOMO or just get rid of it altogether. So what I did is I went and researched and thought about different ways that you could do that. And I came up with 10 amazing ways to handle ADHD and FOMO together. So that's what I'm going to go over today. And let's get into that. The first one is going to be mindfulness. It makes you say, hey, I am aware of my situation right now. So if you're going to be impulsive and you are using mindfulness, then you might stop and do breathing exercise like, do the breathing exercise thing. Or you might just in the room, when you walk into a room, just be aware. Just say, okay, I need to stop and think about what I'm doing, what is around me, what I may be missing or not viewing right now. So mindfulness, I think, is great. I think it's one of the best things to stop impulsivity, and it could stop you from the fear of missing out or FOMO as well, because now when you go and you're like, I need to find out, I need to do this, I need to go out and find out about this, you can go back to mindfulness and make it so you just stop in your tracks. It helps you to get used to meditation as well. And that can be really good because meditation helps you to slow down, helps you to reflect, helps you to be aware of your surroundings just for a few minutes as you just meditate and you're not focusing on everything around you. Now, if you have ADHD, it might be hard, but at least it is a tool that you can use and you have available to you. The next thing I thought that could be really good is going to be positive affirmations or journaling. And you're probably like, why in the world would that be helpful? Because when you get up in the morning and say something positive, say something that you declare in the morning, like, I am not going to be prone to the fear of missing out or FOMO, or, hey, I'm going to write down, I'm not going to be prone to the fear of missing out, kind of just reinforces it because now you've either written it out or you have spoken it out loud or you have done both, and it will help reinforce it in your mind, right? And each time you do it, each day you do it, you're going to hear yourself say it one more time or write it out one more time. And then you'll start to think about it each morning that you get up. And so as you do it more and more and more, you'll get the idea of, oh yeah, let me remember that I do not need to be prone to FOMO today. I need to resist it. I need to try to do other things than to be prone to FOMO. And so I think it is a great way. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. Like the first time you do it, you're like, hey, it didn't work at all. But as you do it over time and time and time, you will start to realize that, hey, in the morning, I'm thinking about that. I'm not going to be prone to FOMO. But right now, I'm in the FOMO category. So let me back up and think about it. Do I really need to do this? Do I really need to go look up whatever I'm trying to look up? Do I really need to go get that certain thing just because I don't want to miss out because everyone else has it? Let me take a step back and think about that. And so I think it would be good to get up in the morning, do a positive affirmation or write in your journal, in this journal, and that will help to remind you that you don't need to be prone to FOMO. Next up, exercise. It's pretty much proven that exercise has a high chance of decreasing impulsivity. And if you decrease impulsivity, you decrease FOMO. And so you want to find ways to decrease impulsivity. Now, the great thing about exercise, it has other benefits as well. It helps to produce neurotransmitters. It helps to be good and healthy for a good and healthy brain. But the main point I'm making here is it does help to decrease impulsivity. So you don't have to do anything that's really complicated. You don't have to just be a professional athlete or anything like that. You can just go a walk, you can go garden, you can do whatever you want as an exercise activity. You just want to do a little bit each day and start with where you are. If you're like, hey, I haven't done exercise in 15, 20 years and I am just getting back into it, I can't do what everybody else does, and just start with where you are. Start with just doing a little bit and then just increase it each and every day. It is baby steps. When you have exercise, you don't start out lifting, 400 pounds when you're in the weight room, right? You start out lifting 45 pounds or 55 pounds or whatever it is, right? You start out small and you build and build and build. Same thing with exercise. Whatever exercise you decide to do, you're going to start at the beginning and then build and build and build on that. And each time you do that, as you get more and more into exercise, you may notice that impulsivity decreases, which in turn will decrease FOMO. The next thing is going to be simply have a list. Have a list of interesting activities that you do, your favorite activities that are interesting, that are the type of activities you say, I would rather do this than anything else. Because when you get to that mode of FOMO and you're like, I don't want to miss out on whatever it is, you can look at that list and say, I don't want to miss out, but this is way better than whatever I'm thinking about right now. And you might say, well, I don't have time to get a list. I don't have time to go look in a drawer or whatever and find the list. I'm just going to go do what I want to do. Well, have the list up somewhere where you can walk by it and see it, maybe on a dry erase board or something, or on a pen board with pens or whatever. So you have it and you just see it and you don't have to do a whole lot of searching around for it. Have some sort of list that you do that is interesting to you, that gives you that whole dopamine producing rush kind of thing. And then when you go to think about doing something you consider a FOMO activity, you can say, I want to do that, but let me look at my list and see if there's anything more interesting. You find something interesting on the list. Now, this may not work for everyone, but these are just different options. This is a different option that you can take if this would work for you. And so I think it's at least something you can try, at least something that you can say, I'll try that and see if that actually works. And if it doesn't, that's fine. You just try something else. But it is one of the things that can be helpful if you have a list of activities that you enjoy. It can make you stop and think, go look at the list, and that stops you from thinking about whatever you're doing in the FOMO category. And maybe you do what's on the list instead and not take a leap into impulsivity right at that moment. Another thing you can do is actually find an app on your phone to help with gamification. Now, they do have different ones and you just have to find the one that works for you. You just put in whatever you want to put in for a task that you want to complete. And then it gives you some indicator that you've completed that task and you have a reward once you check it off or whatever, that you say, hey, I've completed it. And it will say, okay, task completed, give you some sound to indicate that you have completed the task and it's in the system. And then as you go throughout the day, you can add your points. At the end, it will give you your point total. And your goal is to reach the highest point total you can each and every day. So they do have those. You can look into them, and it might be something to help with gamification as well. All right, moving on. Next is going to be make a schedule or have a routine. Now, you're probably thinking when you have ADHD, this is not going to be easy. And yes, I agree. It may not be easy, but it will help, because if you are in the process of doing a routine or a schedule, you get the idea of saying, hey, I really want to do the whole FOMO activity, but I can't because of the fact that I have my schedule and routine. If I get off track, I won't finish my schedule or routine. And so you have to think about the benefits of a schedule and routine. Now, if you get into one and can make a schedule and routine, and that even if you adhere to it some, it may help, because you'll have to stop and think, do I really want to get off my schedule? Do I really want to get off my routine to go check out this other thing that I really want to? Because if I do, then I won't finish whatever is on my schedule, and that can throw off my whole day. And so you're going to go through a process. If you don't know how to make a schedule or get into a routine now, then you just start with where you are. You start with doing maybe one activity, scheduling one activity a day, or 3 activities a day that you want to complete. And as you get into doing the activities and doing the routine each and every day, you'll get used to being in that routine. And you'll build up more and more and more until you have a complete routine or complete schedule. And at that point, you really are going to be on a schedule. And so you won't want to derail the schedule by going and doing some sort of FOMO activity. So just an idea, I think it was worth mentioning. It won't be easy, but when you do it and complete it, it can help stop you when you're going to do that fear of missing out activity. Use a timer. A timer can be great for making sure that you don't do the FOMO activity. And why? Because it relates back to a schedule and routine. If you're using a timer, you not only are getting used to using a timer, but it might be something you use to make sure you stay on schedule. Make sure that you are doing your routine throughout the day. And so you set your timer for whatever activity you're going to do. And then if you see something that is a FOMO activity, you say, I can do that, but if I don't do this timer right now, I won't be able to do the next thing on my list, or I'll be late for my appointment. So I can't go do that right now because of the fact that this timer is what I need to make sure I stay on schedule. And it's saying you don't have time to do that. So it's one of the things that you can use as another tool. Maybe it won't be the one that completely helps to reduce FOMO, but it's another tool that you can combine with other things to help stay on track and help you to not be as impulsive. Because once you get used to using a timer, you want to be able to say, okay, I'm using a timer, but I won't do something different until the timer goes off. So the timer is helping to make you have a little more self-control. And that can be a great thing. And so it will help you reduce that impulsivity just a little bit. So I'm going to say use a timer, get a timer application, and see if this works for you. Next up is stay off social media. Put your phone or tablet down, just stay off of it. And why? Because of the fact that social media, being on your phone, being on your tablet, is one of the areas that you can enter into FOMO because you're, I need to find out what this story is about. I need to go buy this other thing that I really want that I saw that's on sale and I think I need that thing. Or you say, I wonder what so-and-so is doing. I need to know what is going on. Let me check Twitter. Let me check Instagram. Wow, this new song is coming out and I think this is awesome. I have to go listen to it right now. So you want to stay off social media because that is one of the main things that creates FOMO. It's one of the main things that creates that fear of missing out because it's instant access to just everything. And when you have instant access to just everything, then when you are thinking about, I need to look up this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that, and you have access to it instantly. And so when you put your phone down, put your tablet down, just staying off social media, then it's going to help reduce the FOMO activity. It's going to help reduce the impulsivity. It's going to help reduce looking at things because of the fact that you think you're missing out. You'd be amazed at what happens when you just put down your phone and are not on social media, not on a tablet, and you have to figure out other things to do. You just do things you haven't thought of in a long time. You're like, wow, I never even thought of that I can do this right now because I'm not on my phone, not on my tablet, not on social media. So just a very simple one, but also maybe a very hard one to do. But if you do it and kind of get used to it, then you'll get used to not being into FOMO, or it should help to reduce FOMO during the day and then help you reduce it overall within your life. Moving on. Another thing you can do is you can actually go and get these programs that you can install in your computer on your browser that will inhibit you from visiting certain websites at certain times. And the great thing about this is if you are into getting into the FOMO activity at these certain times during the day, and these are your normal times that you do that, and these are the go-to websites that you go to, then you can use these programs to help stop you from doing that. And you have to be committed now to using the program, because if you are not, then you can install the program and say, I'd never want to have that on there, or hey, I know that's on there, but I'm going to take it off so I can still go visit this certain website. But if you're committed to reducing FOMO in general, then what you can do is install this program and then use it to help give you a stop and pause when you're trying to go to a certain website. I set it up. I know why I set it up. I don't want to visit that website while I'm doing this really important thing. or between this time and this time during the day because I know there are other important things I need to do at that time each and every day, then it can be a tool that will help you reduce FOMO. And so I think it's worth looking into. I think it might be something that can help. It might be something you can use. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. There are a lot of other tools that you can use to reduce FOMO as well that I have mentioned. Next up is going to be support groups or family and friends that want to help you. And the reason I say this is because if you have a support group or someone that's going to support you, family or friend, and you tell them, hey, I want help in reducing my FOMO, my fear of missing out. Can you help me? Can you help encourage me? Can you help be a support to me? Then you have another person that you are thinking about when you get into this whole fear of missing out mode. You can say, I want to do that, but they would be disappointed in me, or they're in my corner trying to help me, and I need to do what I can because I asked them to help me. Or you get into a support group, and there are a lot of ADHD support groups around, but you get in a support group where everyone is trying to do the same thing, work towards the same goal. So now you have a group of people who are supporting you, reaching the goal of saying, hey, we're all in this together. We all are trying to reduce the impulsivity. And hey, how do you do this week? Hey, how did you do today? Hey, how are you doing today? Are you doing good with reducing the impulsivity? Are you doing good with reducing the fear of missing out? And you can say the same thing to them, and you support each other along the journey. So support groups or support in general can be amazing to help you with the fear of missing out or FOMO and helping you to reduce it, because of the fact you are in this together with another person or another group of people. And that means now you have support in your journey and support in helping you to reduce the impulsivity and the fear of missing out. So that was 10, but I have a bonus one, and it kind of relates to all of this. The bonus one is to have a goal and have a reward in mind. And the reason I say this is the bonus one, because everything I've said today is to get to the goal of reducing FOMO or reducing impulsivity in your life. So that is the goal. So everything I said today is working towards a goal. Now, when you get through with that goal and you're like, hey, I've reduced FOMO or my fear of missing out, I've reduced impulsivity, have yourself a reward in mind to say, hey, I've completed this. I've done this. I've accomplished this. I have made progress on this. And now I have a reward in place for me. I have a reward in place for saying, hey, I am at the end of this, or I am pretty far along in this journey. Now, I always say this too, have rewards along the way. Have rewards of saying, hey, I started here, but I've advanced here through the first 2 weeks, and then the next 2 weeks, and the next 2 weeks, and each week that you've done well, you have a little reward. And at the end, you have a huge reward. But the point is, this is a goal, have a reward at the end, and it encompasses everything that I've said today. So I hope this information has been helpful to you. I wanted to save that to last because of the fact that it's really more of a bonus, because it is overall the goal of this video of these different points. So if this information has been helpful to you, then what I need to do is go ahead and subscribe on YouTube or on the podcast app. If you're on YouTube, press the notification bell as well and leave a like and a comment. And if you have other suggestions to decrease FOMO, then put them down in the comments and let me know, because I would be interested in reading them. And I hope you have a great day, the rest of your week. You are awesome. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a great and wonderful day. I will talk to you later.